How's it going, everybody? My name is LuckyBunz. In today's video, we're going to be going through all of the events for the month of January in Pokemon Go. We got a lot to get through, so let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. Okay, so first of all, let's go over the current season bonuses. We're going to get one additional special trade per day, increased Stardust from their first catch of the day, and then increased friendship damage in raid battles. Now, in terms of the Shadow Legendary Pokemon, let's go over that next. We'll start off with Giovanni, which is actually going to be getting a new rotation on January 23rd. This is going to rotate out from Tornadus Incarnate. Now, I do have to imagine that the next Pokemon in this rotation is going to be Shadow Thundurus Incarnate or Shadow Landorus Incarnate. Now, Shadow Tornadus Incarnate, for those who are unfamiliar, is terrible in pretty much every possible way for PvP and raid battles. You have much better options you can go with, so in simple terms, stacking your Super Rocket Radar just makes the most sense. For anybody unsure how to actually do that, you can check out this quick video on screen. We will also spend some more time going over this when the Team Go Rocket Takeover event information has been announced, so I'll make another video probably towards the middle of January covering this stuff more in detail. Okay, next up, let's go over the Shadow Legendary Pokemon that's going to be in raid battles. That is going to be Shadow Cresselia, and in terms of meta relevance, this will rank in the top 60 for the Open Ultra League, so it's actually pretty good, but it will need the legacy moveset Grass Knot, so you will have to use an Elite TM. The shiny form is also going to be available, so if you missed your chance to get this back in November, this will be your second chance. We'll talk about our legendary raid rotation in a little bit here, but overall, I really have liked these Shadow Legendary raids being available at the same time, just because sometimes the legendary raid pull rotation is so bad, and I'd much rather do these Shadow Legendary raids for a chance at a Shadow Shiny. Next up, let's go over the Research Breakthrough box. So we're going to have Lapras, Galarian Mr. Mime, Snorlax, Dreepy, Honedge, and Sinistea, and you will also have a chance to get a remote raid pass from these if you have no more than 2 in your Pokemon bag, although it is pretty rare. Next up, let's go over the Go Pass bonuses. I decided to start including these into these videos. It just made sense because it's a monthly thing as well. So at rank 25 for Tier 1, you're going to unlock the following bonuses. You're going to be able to open up to 40 gifts per day, receive up to 125 gifts from Pokestops per day, and hold up to 10 additional gifts in your item bag. At rank 50 for Tier 2, you're going to get 2 times daily adventure incense duration, so that's going to go from 15 to 30 minutes. At rank 75, you're going to get additional rewards from in-person raids and max battles. And then at rank 100, you're going to get an encounter with Dialga. Now we are also going to have the deluxe version of the Go Pass, which you can pay $8 for. So these are going to have different bonuses, or at least Tier 1's going to have a different bonus. So for Tier 1 at rank 25, you're going to be able to open up to 50 gifts per day, receive up to 150 gifts from Pokestops per day, and then hold up to 20 additional gifts in your item bag. And then when it comes down to rank 50 and rank 75 for Tier 2 and Tier 3, those are going to be the same bonuses as the free version, so nothing additional for those ones. But at rank 100, you're going to be able to get a Lucky Trinket. Now you will have until February 8th to actually use this on a friend of your choice, as long as your great friends are higher, to get guaranteed lucky friends. Once you're lucky friends with them, your next trade with them is going to be lucky, as the name suggests, and there's going to be no time limit on actually getting this trade done. So once you are lucky friends, you can take as long as you want to actually do that trade. Once again, I do encourage you guys to use your Lucky Trinket on somebody local, but if you do want to use it on me, I mean, there's always going to be that option. I am very good with gifts, so when it comes down to it, you will get gifts consistently from me, which you can open to interact on a regular basis. Now, I do also want to mention you are limited to how many points you can earn per day on the Go Pass, so you need to be proactive about completing the daily and weekly tasks in this. If you are worried about getting enough points to actually reach rank 100 at the end of the month, you can always wait to purchase the deluxe version for the Lucky Trinket. This way you don't feel like you wasted the $8, right? Because if you don't get to rank 100, then it basically is a waste of $8. When it comes down to it, I do think the Lucky Trinket is worth it, but it does also depend on your playstyle. If you don't trade that much, this can be skippable, but I think a lot of people out there do actually take advantage of this one. Following that though, let's take a look at our legendary raid pull rotation. So shiny forms will be available for each legendary Pokemon I'm about to mention, and the rotation cycle is going to be from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. local time. So first of all, we don't have anything mentioned for December 31st to January 4th, but we are going to have Blacephalon featured during the raid hour on the 31st, so that could be the featured Pokemon for the next few days. This does also line up with the New Year's event, so I'm just gonna, theoretically say here that it is going to be Blacephalon, and it also is going to have the new legacy moveset, Mind Blown. This will make Blacephalon a lot more meta relevant in terms of the fire type category, so definitely make sure to go out and raid a few of these, and you also have the chance to get the shiny, so it's a really great time. The next Pokemon in rotation is going to be Genesect in its Burn Drive and then Chill Drive from January 5th to January 16th. Genesect is a mythical Pokemon, which means the only way to get the shiny or hundo is going to be from raid battles. And in terms of meta relevance here, Genesect is actually pretty good to use in the Open Ultra League depending on which drive it has access to. I believe the Chill drive is actually one of the better ones. Now this does also need to be paired together with the exclusive Technoblast charge move, which I don't believe is going to be available during this rotation. Nothing was mentioned about it, so you will have to use an Elite TM if you do want to get that. Next up, we're going to have Thundurus Incarnate from January 16th to January 25th. The Incarnate form of this Pokemon isn't meta relevant for anything, but its Therian form is actually a pretty good Electro-type attacker with Wild Bolt Storm, so you can just use your free passes to farm candy on it during this rotation, but it doesn't really make sense to use your green passes unless you're trying to shiny hunt this. The same is also true for the next rotation, which is going to be Tornadus Incarnate from January 25th to February 4th. Tornadus is probably one of the most useless legendary Pokemon there is. Its Therian form is a little bit better with Bleak Wind Storm. It makes it somewhat good as a flying type attacker, but there are much better options out there. So again, use your free passes here if you really want to, but honestly, this raid boss is definitely skippable in my opinion. Next up, let's take a look at the raid hours, which are going to be taking place every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Typically, whichever legendary Pokemon is going to be in rotation is going to be the one featured during that respective Wednesday. So on January 7th and January 14th, we're going to have Genesect. On January 21st, we're going to have Thundurus Incarnate, and then on January 28th, we're going to have Tornadus Incarnate. Now, when it comes down to raid hour, these raids reset after about 25 minutes, and if you're not really sure where to go to actually play, I would strongly recommend checking out Campfire for any local meetups. Following that, let's take a look at our Mega Raid rotation. So from the 31st of December to January 4th, nothing was mentioned, and unlike Blacephalon, which is going to be featured during the raid hour, I really have no idea what's going to be in rotation for the Mega Pool, so not sure about that one, but from January 5th to January 16th, we are going to have Mega Blaziken. In terms of meta relevance, Mega Blaziken is tied with Mega Charizard Y as the best fire type attacker in the game. You do want to ideally have Blast Burn though, which you will have to use an Elite TM. Otherwise, you can use Overheat as the next best fire type moveset. Also, with the addition of Aura Spear to its move pool a few months ago, it is now the second best fighting type attacker in the game behind Mega Lucario. So Mega Blaziken is an amazing Pokemon to hunt. And of course, you guys probably already know this by now, but it's going to be great for candy farming bonuses because it takes on the dual typing of fire and fighting. So overall, Mega Blaziken, top Mega Pokemon you guys should absolutely be rating for during this rotation. And after that, we're going to have another great Pokemon as well. That's going to be Mega Sceptile from January 16th to January 25th. Mega Sceptile is the best grass type attacker in the game with Frenzy Plant, once again a legacy moveset. You can go with Leaf Blade as the next best option if you don't want to use the Elite TM, but its ER drops about 6 points, which is a pretty big drop, and that makes it actually worse than Mega Venusaur just slightly. So making sure that this has Frenzy Plant on your Mega Sceptile is actually pretty important. Now this is also great for candy farming bonuses because it does take on the dual typing of Grass and Dragon. So again, great Pokemon you guys should definitely be rating during this rotation. And finally, we're going to have Mega Ampharos, which is going to be available from January 25th to February 4th. This is the second best Electro-type Mega in the game behind Mega Manectric, but it does take on the dual typing of Dragon and Electric, which makes it better for candy farming during certain events. So honestly, all three of these Pokemon, great for candy farming bonuses. You should definitely be getting the energy for them. But overall, they all have meta relevance too. And Mega Blaziken and Mega Sceptile are like top of the meta. Mega Ampharos is one that you probably won't use that much if you already have Mega Manectric, but still, it's a great Pokemon to pick up. I do actually use that one quite frequently when it comes down to certain events. Now overall, when it comes down to these Mega Pokemon, I'd recommend doing at minimum 1 to 2 raids to get the initial energy to Mega Evolve them for the first time, and then afterwards you can just walk them as your buddy to earn more energy. And the goal here is going to be to get your Mega Pokemon to Mega Level 3 for additional candy bonuses when catching Pokemon, and that's going to be unlocked after 30 days of Mega Evolution. Next up, we're going to have Max Battles. So first up, we're going to continue to have Dynamax Omanite until January 4th. Now, with the upcoming release of Dynamax Roggenrola and Max Battles later this month, you don't really need to worry about this one anymore. Previously, Dynamax Omastar was the best rock-type attacker we had for Max Battles, but that did require the use of an Elite Fast TM to get Rock Throw. So at this point, there isn't a reason to focus on this one unless you just want to go for that shiny. Next up, we are going to have a really good Pokemon though. We're going to have Dynamax Drampa from January 5th to January 11th. And while this Pokemon doesn't have meta relevance, Drampa has historically been a raid exclusive Pokemon, so this is going to be a great opportunity to potentially get the shiny form from Max Battles. It's much more accessible this way compared to raiding for it, that's for sure. Next up, we're going to have Dynamax Caterpie from January 12th to January 18th, and there's no reason to actually do these. You're better off just waiting for Gmax Butterfree to return, and even then, that Pokemon isn't meta relevant for Max Battles, so there isn't like a strong incentive to do any of these to even farm candy. Next up, from January 19th to January 25th, we're going to have Dynamax Beldum, and when evolved to Dynamax Metagross, this was a great Pokemon to use in max battles in the early days, but it has fallen off quite a bit in terms of meta relevance. That doesn't mean you should avoid doing these, as Metagross is relevant in the Master League and it's also good in rocket battles, and it's a decent steel type attacker to still use, but you do have better options out there like Zacian, Zamazenta, and Duskmane now. When Mega Evolved, Mega Metagross is still going to fall below Duskmane Necrozma, and this is even with its legacy moveset Meteor Mash, which does require the use of an Elite TM. So the only reason that I would actually invest into a Dynamax Metagross at this point is if you happen to get the hundo. Now finally, we are going to have Dynamax Roggenrola from January 6th to February 1st, and as mentioned earlier, this will be a new Dynamax Pokemon featured and the first accessible rock-type attacker we're going to have for this format. The candy required to evolve this into Gigalith is pretty expensive though. It's going to be 50 candy to evolve it from Roggenrola into Boldore, and then another 200 candy to evolve it into Gigalith. But you can actually take advantage of the discounted trade evolution because this is one of those Pokemon. So if you trade your Roggenrola and then you evolve it into Boldore, that's still going to be 50 candy, but then the evolution into Gigalith is going to be free because of the trade evolution discount. So I do strongly recommend taking advantage of that, try to secure a lucky variant, and then you should be good to go. Now following that, let's take a look at the upcoming events for this month. So first of all, we're going to have the New Year's event, which is going to go until January 4th at 8 p.m. local time. As far as the bonuses go, we're going to have 2 times experience from raid battles and 2 times Stardust from raid battles. We'll have, some special costume Pokemon featured in the wild and then also in raid battles, some daily field research, and then we'll also have a paid time to research for $2, which can get you 2 raid passes, 3,000 Stardust, an encounter with event-themed Pokemon, and then you'll also get 1 additional raid pass per day thanks to the event ticket. Also, we're going to get the guaranteed lucky Pokemon that a trainer can receive from trades increased from 35 to 45. So basically, if someone's coming back to the game and they have a Pokemon from 2020, if they trade that, it can actually be a guaranteed lucky Pokemon until this limit is reached. Although the most frustrating part about the guaranteed lucky trades is the fact that we don't have an in-game counter. So it's actually pretty frustrating, but it is what it is. If you haven't done that many guaranteed lucky trades or just coming back to the game, this will work for you, but if you're like a veteran player like myself, just be warned, there's a good chance it won't work for you. Okay, anyways, let's take a look at our next event, which is going to be Piplup Calm Day Classic. So, like a typical Calm Day Classic, we're going to get increased Piplup encounters in the wild. They're all going to have a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 25. We're going to have 3-hour incense, 1-hour lure modules, and these will last until 9 p.m. And every Pokemon encountered from these lure modules, the Piplup encountered from these lure modules will have a chance to have a special background. The special bonus is going to be 1/4 hash distance. You can also get 5 free Piplup from snapshots. You just need to take a picture of your buddy Pokemon, back out, and the encounter is going to appear. Rinse and repeat that 4 more times. The special Calm Day moveset for the evolution Empoleon is going to be Hydro Cannon, and you will have until 9 p.m. to evolve to get this special moveset. You can get guaranteed special backgrounds on Piplup from these following tasks: win a 5-star raid battle, trade a Pokemon, and complete a party challenge. And there's also going to be a special research ticket for $2, which will get you 1 star piece, 1 incense, 3 silver pineapple berries, 1 rare candy, 1 premium raid pass, 1 rocket radar, and guaranteed special backgrounds with Piplup at the end of every page. There's going to be 3 in total. The next event is going to be Pinch Perfect from January 6th to January 11th. This is going to be the Cloth debut along with the Shiny Dynamax debut. We're going to have the special bonus of 2 times catch experience during this event, and we'll have a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 128 on the following Pokemon: Corphish, Dwebble, and Clauncher. And then we're going to have a timed research from January 6th to January 8th, which will get you encounters with Dwebble and Cloth. From the 8th to the 10th, it's going to get you encounters with Corphish and Cloth. And then from the 10th to the 11th, we're going to have Clauncher and Cloth. And then finally, we're going to have a paid timed research for $2, which will get you 2 premium raid passes and encounters with event-themed Pokemon. The next event is probably the most important event of this month. That's going to be the Kyurem Fusion Raid Day on the 10th. So from this event, you're going to get 5 additional free orange raid passes to use during the event window, which I believe is going to be from 2 to 5 p.m. We're going to have the remote raid pass limit increase from 10 to 20 during this event. We're going to have a boosted shiny raid on Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, all 1 out of 10, so that's actually awesome. And then also they're going to have their special moveset. So Reshiram's going to have Fusion Flare, Zekrom's going to have Fusion Bolt, and Kyurem is going to have Glaciate. And then if you actually fuse them together to get White Kyurem or Black Kyurem, that's going to be 1000 energy, and then for White Kyurem, that's going to need 30 Kyurem candy and 30 Reshiram candy, and you'll get the Adventure Effect Ice Burn as long as you fuse one together that has a Glaciate on your Kyurem. The Reshiram doesn't need to have it. And then for Black Kyurem, it's the same thing, except it's going to be 30 Kyurem candy plus 30 Zekrom candy, and then you're going to get Free Shock as the Adventure Effect. Those Adventure Effects are super good good. We'll spend some more time talking about these Pokemon in a separate video. I just wanted to let you guys know that right now. This is an amazing raid day you cannot skip. And then we'll also have a $5 event ticket like normal for raid days, which will get you 8 additional orange raid passes to use, an increased chance to get Rare Candy XL, 1.5 times raid experience, and 2 times raid Stardust. The next event is going to be the High Zaptitude event. Maybe Zapdos is going to be featured. We're going to have that one from January 13th to January 18th. The information for this one has not been announced yet. But what has been announced is going to be Grookey Com Day on January 18th, and so from this you're going to get increased encounters with Grookey, all with a boosted shiny rate of 1 out of 25. We're going to have 3-hour incense, 1-hour lure modules. These will last until 9 p.m. and you can get Grookey with special backgrounds from these. The special bonus is going to be 3 times catch Stardust, and then we're going to have 2 times catch candy and a 2 times chance to receive extra large candy from catching Pokemon if you're level 31 or higher. And because this is going to be a regular Com Day, we will get 1 additional special trade, and then every trade is going to be 50% less Stardust when trading. This is different for the Com Day Classic, so if you're wondering why I didn't mention these bonuses, it's because it's a Com Day Classic and this one is a normal Com Day. You're also going to get 5 free Grookey from Snapshot. The special Com Day moveset for Rookie's Evolution Rillaboom is going to be Frenzy Plant, and you will have until 9 p.m. to get it with this special move. And then it's also going to get a new attack, which is going to be called Drum Beating. This is its signature moveset, and this is going to be a non-legacy moveset, so you can just TM to get this whenever you want. You're going to have guaranteed special backgrounds from field research tasks, specifically win a 5-star raid, trade a Pokemon, and complete a party challenge. And then you'll have the special research ticket for $2, which will get you 1 star piece, 1 incense, 3 silver pineapple berries, 1 rare candy XL, 1 premium raid pass, 1 rocket radar, and guaranteed special backgrounds with Grookey at the end of every page. It's going to be 3 in total, just like the Piplup Com Day one. So yeah, pretty much the same thing here. Overall, this is pretty exciting. I will have to say Grookey is going to be a new shiny coming to Pokemon Go, so I'm looking forward to this Com Day, and 3 times catch Stardust is always excellent. So great Com Day. I'm totally going to be playing. Now for the remainder of the events this month, the information has not been announced yet, so I'm just going to run through these real quick. We're going to have the Precious Pals event from January 20th to January 25th. We're going to have the Team Go Rocket Takeover from January 23rd to January 25th. We're going to have a Shadow Raid Day on the 24th of January, and then we're going to have the Into the Depths event from January 27th to February 1st, and then we're also going to have a Dynamax weekend over that weekend from January 31st to February 1st. So potentially some exciting events coming soon. I'm definitely looking forward to that Team Go Rocket Takeover, but now let's take a look at the spotlight hours for this month to round things off for this video. So these are going to be taking place every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Shiny forms will be available for each of the featured Pokemon I'm about to mention. So first up, we're going to have Barboach on January 6th with a special bonus 2 times catch experience. This Pokemon isn't featured too often, so you might want to use this opportunity to actually get a good IV spread for the Great League on Wish Cash, and then potentially hunt down the shiny as well. Now otherwise, you can just skip this one if none of that sounds interesting to you, because this isn't like a great spotlight hour overall. On the 13th of January, we're going to have Mareep as the featured Pokemon with a special bonus being 2 times Evolve experience. 1 Evolve to Ampharos. This does rank in the top 100 for the Open Ultra League, and this will also have a Mega Evolution available in raid battles later during this month. So if you are missing the shiny or the hundo, you might want to consider playing this one to get a good IV spread, but if you don't really care about that, you could just focus on the 2 times Evolve experience bonus. I'd gather about 70 evolutions in a search tag per lucky egg, and if you can, try to coordinate any friendship level ups during this time as well. On the 20th, we're going to have Hatena with a special bonus being 2 times transfer candy. This, in my opinion, will be a great time to build up some candy for the future G-Max Hatterene, or potentially get the elusive shiny that was released back in November during the Go Wild Area event. Now additionally, you should also take advantage of that special 2 times transfer candy bonus. I would create a search tag, group together all of your rare Pokemon extra legendaries leading up to this event. This way you can transfer them all right at the start of the event, and then also if you're going to be grinding out those Hatena, you can transfer all those for even more candy before the event actually ends. Now finally, we're going to have the most important spotlight hour of the month here on the 27th. That's going to be Foongus with a special bonus being 2 times catch Stardust. For those who don't know, Foongus is actually going to be a Stardust boosted Pokemon that awards 500 Stardust per catch. With the special bonus of 2 times catch Stardust, that means you're going to get 1000 Stardust per catch and 1500 with the start piece. The only problem is that the catch rate on Foongus is kind of rough, so you do want to stockpile as many Ultra Balls as you can before this event actually takes place. With that being said though, that pretty much covers all the events for the month of January. Overall, I think this month does look pretty good. I am actually the most excited for the Black and White Kyurem Raid Day on the 10th, Foongus Spotlight Hour on the 27th, and even Grookey Com Day should also be pretty fun with the 3 times catch Stardust and the shiny debut. Oh, and you can't forget about the Team Go Rocket Takeover on the 23rd, because we're finally going to get a new rotation of Shadow Shiny Pokemon to hunt from the team leaders, so that should be really fun as well. As always though, if there's something you're looking forward to specifically, let me know in the comments section down below, and if you guys do want to check out some more content in the meantime, I'm going to recommend these 2 videos right here.